Just a little RZR tire talk here, Oregon Moto John. We have the SS360 tires floating on top of the snow on our RZR XP 1000 versus the Pro Armor kind of more mud rock crawling tires that are punching down to the ground. So you know, it's just kind of interesting. How are you going to make traction? Are you going to float, or are you going to dig? And so today we're going back out in the snow. Kids don't want to sled today, so I'm just trying to decide between more ground clearance and more mud tires, rock crawling tires, or less ground clearance and tires that might float on the XP. So we'll see what we decide. What would you go with? Would you go with something SS360 sand and snow tires, or would you go with mudders to just bite and dig? So tough question. I'm not even sure myself right now. I think I'm going to side with this machine only because it has a street legal blinker kit on it, and I will be doing some connecting roads today. So I think we are going to take the Rock and Trail RZR today. And you know, ground clearance is never bad. Ground clearance is never a bad thing. With these high lifter radius arms and a little slightly bigger tire, higher sidewall, ground clearance isn't a wrong thing. So I think we're going to take the Rocks and Trails. Just some cold weather tips. I'm going to be wearing my Climb Power X Cross gloves with the Climb glove liners here. These are like super thin, and they have the special fingers so you can still work a touch screen. And then if it's really cold, I like this little neck gaiter. I'll put this on before I put my helmet on. It's very thin, just kind of goes around your neck. I have one friend call it a neck condom, but that's kind of, you know, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of a neck gaiter type thing. You can pull it up over your chin. I usually just leave it around my neck. So just a few quick cold riding tips. And should be a fun ride. We're gonna get up in a little deeper snow today. So off to a good start. A great day to have a Jeep out too. That's perfect. So today should be fun. We can get out and plan on getting into a little deeper snow, and these RZRs are just so capable that they're just a hoot. I mean, they don't have any trouble in this snow. It's just a beautiful day. Be out here running four-wheel drive, of course, all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive. These do okay in two-wheel drive, but they're going to, of course, drift around a little more, which can be fun. But like right now, I'm trying to make some time and get somewhere, so I'm going to leave it in four-wheel drive so we can get in a little deeper snow. But we got some more snow last night, and it's already deeper than it was yesterday. But I love these RZRs. You can put them in a four-wheel drift, and if you let off the gas, sometimes the back end wants to come around a little bit. So just realize that if you start to drift, just get a little more on the throttle. Sometimes you can use that to your advantage. If you're coming up to a corner, let off, and the back end starts to kick around, you can use that. But if you find that it's a little too much, then you just get back on the gas, get more of a little bit of a neutral state going, and it'll just pull you right out of any slide you've got going in. Again, you wouldn't slam on the gas, just kind of throttle back on. So if I let off here, yeah, my back end is sliding a little, but if I give it on the throttle, it takes that away. So I'll see if I can demonstrate here. Just gonna get off the throttle. And you can feel that back end wanting to slide, drift a little, and then get back on, and away you go. Does really, really well. I love driving the RZR in the snow. In fact, I think I like driving a RZR in the snow more than on the sand. Trails are fun, but man, there's just something about getting all four wheels digging and drifting. A little bit of fog / condensation here. Corner, off the gas, around the corner, back on the gas, pulls you right out. Lots of fun. You can be sliding a lot of the time, but you'll still be going in the right direction. So a good little point I didn't describe very well earlier. So right here, I'm up on a corner, I let off on the gas, and sometimes the compression of the motor is a little more than the traction. That's when the back end will want to slide. It's not a defect with the machine. It's not a problem if you're in sand or trails, rocks, even, dirt. When you let off, I don't find that's to be the case, but on ice, like this has a packed ice component today. If I come into a corner or if I let off, see like right here, see I can make that back end drift a little, but when I get on, it goes away. That's because the traction's so poor right now. It's hard to tell, but it's packed snow and ice. So it's not a problem, it's not a defect, it's just a matter of when engine compression outweighs the traction of the wheels, then sometimes you'll get a little bit of a, I guess I'd call it a compression skid, which I kind of like because I've learned to know where it is, and then if I want, I can use it to help me turn, and then I can get back on the gas or just barely on the gas, and it'll take that away, no problem. So here we are, and you just get on the gas, and this thing does so well, even in the snow, just like a rocket. This isn't even a turbo, this is just a 1000, and it's like half throttle. So I feel like the 1000 has quite a bit of power, but if you're racing or doing something real serious, you can't ever go wrong with the turbo. Or even if you just want maximum power. Just a quick little point is I went with the, I had a turbo for about, I think 4 or 5 years, and I love that turbo. It was a 4-seater. But I feel like with the 4-seater, the turbo is helpful in many circumstances. And, but with my kids driving, I didn't want them to have big power. And I found for myself, the 1000 for the 2-seater is very, very adequate, with a 2-seater. And a 4-seater, I think in most conditions it's adequate. Sometimes sand robs a little too much power, but that being said, I went with the 1000 just because simplicity. You can run these things all day long. Fuel economy is pretty good. So I purposely went with the 1000, moved away from the turbo just because I didn't want my kids to have all that power at their disposal, and I just like the simplicity of the non-turbo application. But that being said, there's nothing wrong with a turbo. When I was younger, I really enjoyed the power of the turbo and the torque of the turbo. So the turbo is never a wrong choice, and especially with a 4-seater, I think I lean towards the turbo. Or I haven't tried out the new 4-cylinder RZR. I think that would be a great motor for all of them, but especially for a 4-seater. Just that extra weight. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but the 4-seater you needed that. And I love drifting these corners. So yeah, just wanted to expand on if you're trying to make a decision between turbo and non-turbo and those kinds of things. Here's where we were tubing yesterday. Man, this is so beautiful. Out here for a little sleigh ride in the RZR. We're getting a little more elevation, getting a little deeper in the snow. Nothing crazy, but definitely more snow. But got plenty of ground clearance with this thing. And just a lot of fun, just driving around in the snow. Belt temps are 117, so they are staying cool in this cool weather. And just a great day to be out in the snow. This thing cruises at 50 miles per hour plus. You can do that all day long. Very stable. Great traction. Brakes are good. Can really just point and shoot this thing wherever I need it, it'll go. The biggest thing is just watching out for other people. Snow's getting a little deeper yet, and the RZR's still doing awesome. Get on the brakes. does fine, then you can just gradually get back on the gas as you come out of the corner, and it does great. And hitting a few potholes here and there, and this thing, you barely even feel them. I think this has Walker Evans shocks, and I like them. I have them softened up quite a bit for what I'm doing. I'm not launching, catching big air or anything. If we're going to do that, we need to tighten them up. But for just driving along and giving a compliant ride, I like the preload clickers set to the softer end of the spectrum. Here's a few potholes, and you barely even feel them. Kind of neutral through the corner, and then as the corner opens up, get back on the gas. That's great. Alright, so what do you think? You want to do that loop up we were talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do that.
Let's do it.
So here's where I can let off and the back end slide.
Woo!
I like it. Now I can get back on the gas and it pulls me out of that. That's exactly what I was talking about. So here I can let off again, turn, back end slide. I didn't do it as dramatically that time. But see, that's what did you feel that, Angel?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of like that. So you can let off, turn, feel it drifting, and then back on the gas, and you straighten right out. So I like that characteristic. With clutching, you can change that. This is OEM clutching. I think the OEM clutching is done great. But I like using that, letting off, letting it drift a little. Then you can always get back on the gas if you want to, pull out of that little back end slide. And that's only when you left completely off the gas. If I were to keep even a little bit of throttle on, it will not do that. So here I am letting all the way off. There it goes. And then I can just get back on the gas and it pulls that right out. Or I can just stay on the gas. See, here I am. I'm going to stay on the gas barely as I go through the corner. And there'll be none of that. You're going to stay nice and neutral. So again, that's not a negative characteristic. It's just a characteristic that I've come to enjoy and make use of. And it only comes into play if you're on like ice or snow or something pretty slick. And this is a wood bridge, so you don't mess around with wood and water and ice and snow. It can be woo.
Woo. Ah.
Yep, see? Very, very slick, very slick. Yeah, wood is like this, in my opinion, one of the slickest surfaces you'll ever come across when it's wet. And there's a great example right there. Very, very slippery. I was trying to be neutral through there, and it caught me by surprise. Such a pretty drive along the river here. And this RZR, I've hardly used any gas. I drove it yesterday for a few hours and maybe used 1/10 of a tank or 1/8 of a tank. And probably should have filled it up before today, but I'm carrying extra gas. And, I knew today was only going to be maybe an hour or two outing. But it's never a bad habit to refuel before you go. And this road is traveled somewhat, so I don't want to meet somebody on it, so I'm not going to push this thing to where I'm drifting every corner. Plus there are houses along here. There's driveways somebody could pull out. Nothing like a little RZR ride through the snow. Love how the trees are kind of flocked with snow. It's great. We just don't get that much snow here, as a rule. We're kind of a temperate climate, so we just don't get much snow. When we get it, it sure is fun to go out and ride around in. I know I've said it before, but driving a RZR in the snow is a blast. Because they just handle so well. I've driven four-wheel drive vehicles in the snow, trucks and SUVs, and those are great. They're lots of fun, but there's something about a RZR, just the lightweight, nimble nature of them. They're just a blast.
You definitely tell where the trees protect the road and where they don't,
Oh
because the
yeah.
snow's a lot different.
Oh yeah, lots of snow here, and then sometimes it's under such a canopy that it, you know, there isn't as much snow. Snow's getting a little deeper, but not a bunch, but a little bit. We're heading up towards the mountains, heading the right direction to get snow. But we have a winch, we have a tow rope, we have some other things that we could use if we got stuck. It's definitely good to be prepared when you're in snow. When many years ago I went out in snow and I wasn't prepared and got stuck in a snowdrift near the top of a mountain where I'd outrun where many vehicles could go, and it was I'll just say it's a negative experience digging with my hands for 3 hours with the sun setting and the wind blowing, and you know, very much so below freezing temperatures, drifting a corner here. Oh, it's so much fun. Anyway, so I'm not going to repeat that mistake. So, you know, driving with a buddy is perfect. You can always help each other out, but whether you're with a buddy or by yourself, have some basic things. Even if it's not a winch, just a strap that a ratcheting strap could, in that situation, could have gotten me out of the predicament I was in, but I was inexperienced and didn't have anything with me. So always have a spare belt, have the tools to change that. I like my belt gauge, so I know what my temps are running. But it doesn't hurt to have a winch, or like I said, if nothing else, a rope and some other things to help get you out. It's a great day to be out here in the snow. So there we go, keeping it neutral through the corner. Corner opens up, back on the throttle, just shoots you out of the corner.
That's fun.
Isn't it fun?
Yeah.
So easy into the corner here, make sure nobody's coming. As the corner opens up, I can get back on the throttle. So much fun. See, it's definitely slick. Neutral through the corner. As the corner opens up, I can get back on the gas. Feel that all-wheel drive just shooting you out. We could go that way, or we could do this way to do the loop.
Whichever.
Maybe I will go this way if it's open. This might be closed.
Locked gate ahead.
Yeah. Sometimes they lock it, sometimes they don't. If it's open, it's okay to go through. Look at those mountains. I'm not seeing any tracks, which leads me to believe it's locked. But obviously, if it's locked, we'll turn around. I think it's right up here. And based on there not being any tracks, I have a suspicion that it's going to be locked. Oh, we're already getting on some more snow here.
I think there were tracks yesterday.
Oh. Is this the gate? No. I think so. Oh, yep, there it is. It's closed. That's okay. But you can look at our tracks. We're already getting in deeper snow. Just that little bit of elevation gain. Oh, I love fresh snow. Making fresh tracks in snow is the best thing ever. I don't really know why. So I'm going to put it in... Well, maybe I won't. Yeah, maybe I will. I'm going to put it in two-wheel drive, see if I can cook it around here.
trees.
Yeah, we don't want to go off the bank, so I'll put it in 4-wheel drive and get backed up here. Sometimes you can try a fancy maneuver and end up in the ditch. Better to stay on the road. Okay, there we go. See, look at how much deeper this snow is. And the Rocks and Trails has plenty of ground clearance. I don't even see the underbelly skidding on the snow. Yeah, this is great conditions for a RZR. I mean, driving on snow with a RZR isn't unlike... I have very limited time on a racetrack, but when I got a GT350, Ford Performance gives you a free day on the track, so it's like, why not? But and they do an excellent job with that. But driving on the snow isn't unlike that. You come into a corner, or as you're coming to a corner, this is uphill, but you might need to get your braking done before the corner, and then as you're going through the corner, you'll be kind of neutral on the throttle, and as you come out, you can get on the gas. So it's amazing, those low traction situations, or you can create low traction by there being snow and ice, or by speed, just going too fast or going fast. So you know, it's interesting, those similarities that all apply. So here, neutral through the corner, and as you come out, you get back on the throttle. And then I have a corner here coming up, so I'm going to start my braking now while I'm going straight, getting my braking done. Okay, it's about the right speed. Now I can go neutral through the corner, neutral through the corner, in case I meet a car. And then as I come out of the corner, I can gradually get on the gas as my steering wheel unwinds. So, I mean, it's not unlike what you do on the racetrack. And again, I have very little experience with that. That was just what they taught me there, and it seems to work very, very well. But I'm a rookie driver for sure. I just like driving off-road things and motorcycles and try to apply what I was taught to those situations as best I can. So I have a corner coming up here, making a turn. And I'm going to get my braking done while I'm going straight. Taking a right here. This is the spot, yeah.
The fir trees are so pretty with the snow.
So got my braking done. Off the brakes, turn. That's great. Yeah, it's just beautiful out here. I mean, you just can't hardly beat it. We just don't have this kind of weather that often.
I mean, it's probably been, what would you say, 12, 13 years since you've had this much snow here?
Oh, yeah, it's been a while. I'd say that sounds about right.
Consistently for more than a day?
Yep.
And a little fresh snow overnight.
I think that sounds about right.
Woo.
Good pressure on the skid there, which kind of like. All-wheel drive though, it just whips you out of that corner like a rocket. Love this thing. RZRs do so good, all of them. Just skimming along this snow. These tires seem to be doing fine, good enough. And I like how when you get on the throttle, it lifts the front end, you let off, and it drops it a little bit. So there could be cars on here. I'm not gonna rail through here. Oh man, we're getting a little more snow. It's getting thicker. This is so cool. Usually we'd have to drive somewhere completely different part of Oregon, Eastern Oregon, to get this, and here it is right here. Some branches down from the snow. yeah, it's definitely getting thicker. Not really getting bare pavement anymore, or bare gravel road. More down limbs. We'll just zip over those.
Say a command. Cancelled.
Just beautiful up here. A few potholes, and just zip right through.
Crosswalk?
That's funny.
Really?
Going on the throttle, come out of a corner. Front wheel drive just kind of straightens you out. If you're coming out of the corner, you can stay on the gas, and that four-wheel drive, especially the front wheel pulling, it'll straighten you out. So here, get on the gas. Looks like somebody plowed that a little bit. These RZRs are so much fun. Snow falling off of some branches. Down branches, go around those. Okay. It's out to the highway, I think. Got logged in here, open this up. Yeah, it's deep if you go off the road. I mean, it gets deep fast. Look at that. They got some snow up here. Which reminds me of skiing, except we don't have to go skiing.
Yeah, I was thinking if this road wasn't driven on, you could actually bring Grace up here and ski down it,
Oh, I think so.
like she was talking about.
Okay. So pretty today. Be up in the trees, come out into a valley like this, it opens up, and it's just great. These RZRs always amaze me how versatile they are, from being in snow to desert to sand to mud. Man, they'll just do a lot of things well. There just isn't much that they can't do. This is my turn, I think. So no one's coming back there. Okay, good. Get on the gas and out you go.
Woo!
Four-wheel drift. The Roxer Trail RZR was a good call up there. Ground clearance was going to eventually become an issue, but you could argue that if you took the other tires and had enough float, if you could stay on top, that would buy you some time. But if you break below the surface of the snow and you're past what you can get traction on, man, you are immediately stuck. I found it out the hard way a few years ago. I aired way down, went off-road, off the highway, and was on some deeper snow, seeing how far I could...
Say a command. Cancelled.
Without breaking through the snow. Anyway, I was doing really well and just kind of like rock crawling on top of the snow. And then all of a sudden, I had just a little wheel spin and poof! I was immediately buried right up to my frame. on the undercarriage, underbelly of the machine. So the winch came in handy. Had to winch myself out about every 5 feet until I got out of that. But luckily there were trees and things around to help get out. But I thought, okay, don't want to make that mistake again. The way this opens up gives you a little overlook here. Nice view of the valley. Looks cold today. Downhill section. Downhill definitely feels a little squirmier than uphill. I think somebody plowed this. Does it look like that? They made a couple passes.
Maybe they plowed it yesterday?
Yeah. So just really...
Or it was just driven a lot yesterday?
Yeah. So this is like basically no snow. And they got plenty of snow up here. Yeah, you just kind of drift around a little bit, but holds a straight line. Am I braking down early here? Neutral to the corner, and then back on the gas. Woo. Okay, I know where we're at. The way this opens up gives you a little overlook here. Nice view of the valley. Looks cold today. Downhill section. Downhill definitely feels a little squirmier than uphill. I think somebody plowed this. Does it look like that? They made a couple passes.
Maybe they plowed it yesterday?
Yeah. So just really...
Or it was just driven a lot yesterday?
Yeah. So this is like basically no snow. And they got plenty of snow up here. kind of drift around a little bit, but holds a straight line. My braking done early here. Neutral through the corner, and then back on the gas. Woo. Okay, I know where we're at. Little slide action. It's right here, yep. Got a little braking done early. Yep, there's
Ooh.
definitely some slide action. Back on the gas. Slide action. Woo. Yeah, that's fun. With the SS360 snow sand tires yesterday, and what were you saying? You didn't feel the machine moving around quite as much?
I didn't feel on the compression of like you letting off the gas. I didn't feel any sway, any slide in that machine, and I don't know if it was the difference of that machine, if it is that we have slightly more snow today, or it's a little slicker today, or there's different tires on. There's so many different variables, but I didn't feel any of that, and there were times that I was getting on the gas pretty good, and I didn't feel any slide like what I'm feeling today in this machine.
I think it's two things. I think one is this doesn't have a front sway bar, so you're feeling the machine tipping, but I think even more than that, you're describing these mud tires want to dig and track and just dig, and those SS360 tires, they like to just, whatever way you point them, they're a little wider, a little floatier, and I just think they're a little more stable tire on slick surfaces like sand and snow. So
Is there a different tire pressure?
I'm running pretty low pressure on both machines, but the other tires have a wider footprint. They're just wider. So yeah, I think these higher sidewall tires are great for rocks and trails and going over obstacles, but when you're on snow, they want to track in the ruts a little more. And great traction though, and they got me up and over things, so they were a great choice today. But I think that the SS360 tires on snow and sand are just great. Just a very trackable tire, and point and shoot, and very controlled. And but these want to follow the ruts of the road a little more, and but they get you up and over things, which is what they're designed to do. So
Ground clearance.
Yeah, ground clearance. Yeah, they create good ground clearance and good traction, and so I love them. But Angel has a point. Those other tires are very, very controlled on slick surfaces. They just kind of create traction through adhesion.